Y'all ready for this?
Good morning, Creekside Otters. Today is October 31st. It is Halloween Day. We are celebrating Black and Orange Day. Hopefully, everybody's looking great. I'm going to get around the building today, so hopefully I'll be able to see you all with your school spirit. It's going to be great. Let's start with a check-in, shall we? It is Halloween Day. It's exciting. Lots of things happening. Anticipation of tonight. I'm feeling like I'm in the green zone, but I'm also a little bit in the yellow zone. I'm kind of excited, but I can't hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to do some breathing. I've got some responsibilities that I need to fulfill today, and I'm going to really try and focus and be in the green zone today, even though all of the fun things are happening maybe in our classrooms. Now, before I get too much further into our morning announcements, I have a little game to play. Something is different with my office. And I will, I've got some special buttons that I make that I will give to the classroom that can identify what might be different about my classroom. So I'll leave it at that. You guys can figure that out. Something is different though. Now, I know last week I said that we were done with talking about responsibility, but since it's October 31st, guess what? There's almost 5 weeks in October. So we're going one more week. This is going to be our last conversation. So I thought as our last conversation about responsibility, that we would, that I'd read a little story. So I am going to share my screen with you and read a story about responsibility. And maybe you've heard this story before. That's okay. If it's always good to hear things twice and think about kind of maybe what lesson you might be able to learn and think about it in terms of responsibility. All right, so here we go. All right, what if everybody did that? By Ellen Javernick, illustrated by Colin M. Madden. When we went to the zoo, I fed just a little of my popcorn to a bear. The zookeeper waved his broom and said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at that. Look at all that junk food the bears are eating. They're getting fat and sick. I just wanted to see how fast the grocery cart could go. It went faster than I expected. When the manager stopped me, she said, "What if everybody did that?" And you can imagine, like, this is, this little picture here on the right-hand side is kind of what would it maybe look like if everybody was doing that? On the way to visit Grandma and Grandpa in Kansas, I dropped one soda can out the window. The patrolman who pulled us over said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at all that trash. At Uncle William's wedding, I took just a little lick of the frosting from the fancy cake. The lady behind the table glared at me over her glasses and said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at the cake. It's ruined. I told the babysitter that I took a bath just once a year. As she shooed me into the bathroom, she said, "What if everybody did that?" Stinky, gross people, dirty. During story time, I had something important to say. I couldn't wait till the end of the story. The librarian put her finger to her lips and said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at what everybody's saying. "I gotta go potty. Why can't we read one of those other books? I've already heard this one." "How much do you weigh?" "I can touch my toes. See, I'm so hungry." One girl's sleeping there. While we sat in the car waiting for Dad, I honked the horn. I just honked a few times, but Mr. Thompson came to his door. He shook his head and said, "What if everybody did that?" Meep, meep, honk, honk. Look at all. I mean, that's just crazy. Everybody's honking. At the swimming pool, I just splashed a little, and the lifeguard blew his whistle and said, "What if everybody did that?" Now, that's probably a pretty big exaggeration, but like there's no water left in the pool. On the bus, I just stood up to see the fire truck. Mr. Gearshift glared at me in the rearview mirror and said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at that. The bus is going to tip over because everybody decided to go over to that side of the bus and look out the window. That's dangerous. The firemen are saying, "Sit down, sit down." Even the dog's helping. Woof, woof. Just once, I didn't hang my coat on the rack at school. Miss Sanders made me pick it up and said, "What if everybody did that?" Sound familiar? At recess, I threw just one snowball at Sammy. Mr. Walters saw me. When he sent me to stand by the wall, he said, "What if everybody did that?" Throwing snowballs is fun, but maybe not at school, and maybe it looks like people don't even want it. Look, some people are crying. Definitely not at school. When we went out for dinner, I just shot one straw wrapper. The waitress stopped taking our orders and looked straight at me and said, "What if everybody did that?" Look at that. It's crazy. Straw wrappers going over. Who's going to pick all that up? That's a good question. After the football game, I just ran on the field to get the quarterback's autograph. The official waved his arms and said, "What if everybody did that?" Can you imagine everybody just running onto the field trying to get the quarterback's autograph or talking to people? It'd be crazy. When I came home, I gave my mom a hug. What if everybody did that? There'd be a lot of people hugging that one mom, but I think you understand that it's about hugging, right? There are things that we should do and there's things that we shouldn't do, right? And part of responsibility. Everybody should. Look at all these great hugs. There are things that we should do and we shouldn't do. Now, what does this make you think of in terms of responsibility? What's that story? What if everybody did that? What are some things it makes you think of that people do that maybe they shouldn't do, right? Think about that. Maybe pause this video, talk about it as a class. What are some things, are there things that happen here at school that might fit into this book? I wonder if there are things in our school that we might be able to write about in a book like this. What if everybody ran in the hallways? What if everybody yelled in the lunchroom? What if everyone left their popcorn bags on the floor outside? Sound familiar? Can create a big mess, right? Something to think about, right? What if everybody did that? As you're going throughout this week, I want you to really think about that. The things that you're choosing to do, are they being responsible? And if not, then is it a question of, what if everybody did that? And if the answer is maybe not, then maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Now, let's see. I have some quotes for us this week. We actually have 4 quotes from some of our 5th graders, and they actually wrote their own quotes, and they were so great that we thought we would share them with you. The first one it says this: "Great things done and then have fun." Emmy B. Thanks, Emmy. That's a great reminder, right? To get the things done that we need to do and then have fun. And I like the rhyming and that's great. Thank you. The next one: being responsible is not about yourself, but about helping other people. And that's from Lance W. Thanks, Lance. Great reminder. It is, right? And sometimes being responsible is hard because you're trying to think about other people and how it might affect other people. And that is hard, but we can still do it. Okay, our next one: when you're responsible, people view you as someone they can trust and look up to. That's Shreya V. Now, what a great quote, because when you're responsible, That helps build your relationship with other people. They can trust you, they see you, and they might even ask you to do more things, or give you more opportunities, or give you more chances to do other things, because you've built that respect, you built that trust, because you were being responsible. Our last one is Suhani G, and she says, responsibility means to help or care for others. You can affect yourself or other people by being responsible. I love that being responsible is not just about other people, or about yourself. It's about both, right? And how that can affect yourself and other people when we're being respectful. I love it. Thank you so much for those that were able to submit and get those quotes to me. I appreciate that. It's so much fun when there are people and students that go to our school. So that's awesome. Now, alongside with those quotes, we have a few shout outs today. First off, I wanted to fix something, because I made a mistake. Absolutely, I did. I made a mistake, and I'm so sorry. Last week, I said that Mrs. Hartman's class was being responsible for playing math games, and guess what? It wasn't Mrs. Hartman's class. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Mrs. Hartman. It was actually Mrs. Fixman's class, and I misspoke. I said the wrong name, and I apologize. So thank you to Miss Fixman's class for being responsible in playing your math games. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and make sure that they knew that I was recognizing them. We also had some first graders, and they were helpers on the playground by taking care of our equipment, putting those things away, and really taking care of that equipment. Thank you, my little first graders. I appreciate you so much. And that's it. Otters, I hope that you can continue to be responsible, continue to be respectful. And I hope that you can make it a great day. Have a good one.
What is the Day of the Dead? The Day of the Dead is the English name for the Mexican festival Dia de los Muertos. It is a holiday that honors loved ones who are no longer alive. It's celebrated in Mexico, Ecuador, Guatemala, and other areas in Central and South America, specifically those with a Latino background. Similarly, it is also celebrated in areas of the United States and around the world where there are larger Latino populations. When is the Day of the Dead? The first day is on the same day as Halloween, October 31st. Some believe that the gates of heaven open up at midnight on this day. The second day, November 1st, is when the spirits of the deceased children visit. The third day, November 2nd, is when the spirits of adults visit. What is the history of the Day of the Dead? The history of Dia de los Muertos dates back thousands of years, originating in Mesoamerica. In ancient Mexico, the indigenous Nahua group believed that when someone passed away, they entered the land of the dead. During their observances, food and other symbolic items were offered to help and guide the deceased on their journey to their final resting place. These ceremonial practices are considered the roots of the festivities we see during the Day of the Dead holiday today. How do people celebrate Day of the Dead? Surprisingly, the Day of the Dead is not a sad time, but a time of rejoicing and memories. It's a fiesta of flowers, food, candles, parades, prayer, and fun. Sometimes, parades are held where people dress up as skeletons and wear elaborate costumes and masks. People create altars to honor the deceased. The altars are a space to remember loved ones and to light candles to guide the spirits. Some altars have different levels to represent the stages a soul has to take on their journey between heaven and earth. Altars can include pictures of the deceased person, items that they liked, something to eat, candles, flowers, and gifts. Candles are lit during the afternoon at altars and gravesites to burn all evening. The light of the candles guides the way for souls. The final thing added to the altar is incense, which is a perfumed white smoke thought to attract the souls of those who have gone. During the Day of the Dead, special bread is eaten. This bread represents the souls of those who have passed on. The loaves are sometimes baked in the shape of skulls or round and decorated with bones. The bread is often decorated with brightly colored icing or seeds, which represent happiness in some areas of Mexico. Also, skeletons are a popular image during Day of the Dead celebrations. Not only are skeletons seen in decorations, but also in sweets, chocolates, and toys. The toys and dolls are used to introduce children to the idea of death so that they're not afraid of it. Often you can see them grinning because they are laughing at death. They are even shown as musicians or on horseback to show a joyful afterlife. Turn and talk. What would be your favorite part of the Day of the Dead celebration? Why?
Y'all ready for this?